What if you took an NFL legend's career and cut it in half?
Tom's the best quarterback ever, and then the second best quarterback ever. Just split up the 20 years.
How you determine the kings of all kings? Let's dive into the 10 NFL legends who had 2 Hall of Fame careers in one. Tom Brady. Brady played 23 NFL seasons from 2000 to 2022, but he was a backup to Drew Bledsoe in his rookie year and barely saw the field. So let's strictly analyze Brady's 22 seasons from 2001 to 2022. So from 2001 to 2011 alone, Brady was a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, and 2-time league MVP. He was an 11-time Pro Bowler who led the league in passing TDs thrice and in passing yards 2 times. Not to mention that he also led the Patriots to the near-perfect season in 2007 when he threw a then-league record 50 touchdown passes. Also not to mention he led them to another Super Bowl appearance in 2011. From 2012 to 2022, Brady was somehow even better. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 4 more championships, including 3 Super Bowl MVP awards, 3 championships with the New England Patriots, and 1 more with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 2020 season. Brady's longevity, holder of every meaningful passing record, and NFL record-setting 7 Super Bowl rings, yeah, I think that makes him the greatest NFL player ever. Not only did he have 2 Hall of Fame careers in one, but there's certainly a case to be made that he actually had not 2, but 3 in one.
Tom Brady has had 3 distinct Hall of Fame careers.
Just GOAT things, we know. Peyton Manning. Manning didn't play as long as his arch nemesis, but the Sheriff certainly wasn't too shabby himself in the 17 seasons that he played. He entered the NFL as the first overall pick from the Indianapolis Colts in 1998. Now let's imagine that Manning called it quits after the 2005 season. So, if he did that, you would have a 2-time league MVP, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, and a 6-time Pro Bowler with 6 seasons of 4,000 yards passing on his resume. Yeah, I think that's a Hall of Famer in our books. Yet, the best of Manning's career came in the second half, which we'll mark down from 2006 to 2015 since he missed the entire 2011 season. But Manning went to 4 Super Bowls, 2 with the Colts, 2 with the Denver Broncos, and won a ring with each team. Manning won MVP honors in 2008, 2009, and 2013. His 5,477 passing yards and 55 TD passes in its age 37 2013 season remains a single-season record. 4 of his 7 first-team All-Pro nods all came in the back half of his career too. Manning went out on top by winning Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos against the Carolina Panthers. He also retired as the all-time passing yards and passing touchdowns leader, though Brady and Drew Brees later surpassed him in both those categories. 2 Hall of Fame rodeos for 1 Sheriff. Yeah, not a half-bad career to say the very least. Jerry Rice. Before the second half of Brady's career, it was pretty easy to make the case that Rice was hands down the greatest NFL player of all time. Still, being the best non-QB of all time is nothing to scoff at. Rice joined the dynastic San Francisco 49ers as a rookie in 1985, and he'd play a ridiculous 20 seasons in the NFL. Amazing when you consider that most of today's top wideouts begin to slow down before their 30th birthdays. So, regarding the first half of Rice's career, which spanned from 1985 to 94, here's what he had. 3 Super Bowl rings, all with the 49ers, a Super Bowl MVP, 8 first-team All-Pro selections, 5 receiving yards crowns, and 6 seasons as the league leader in receiving touchdowns. And for good measure, a spot on the 1980s All-Decade team, despite not entering the NFL until 1985. From 1995 to his swan song year in 2004, well, Rice just continued to produce like a Hall of Famer. He had 5 more 1,000-yard seasons, 2 first-team All-Pro nods, 4 Pro Bowl selections, and a spot on the 90s All-Decade team. Rice also helped the Oakland Raiders to a Super Bowl 37 appearance in the 2002 season, where they fell to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He retired in 2005 as the all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And thanks to his longevity, 2 Hall of Fame careers in one and all, nobody will ever sniff any of Rice's records. Nor do we really expect anyone to seriously challenge his case as the GOAT of wide receivers. Reggie White. The late Reggie White initially retired in 1999 before coming back for 1 more year with the Panthers in 2000. But if you focus strictly on his first 14 NFL seasons, 1985 to 98, you have 2 careers worthy of a gold jacket. The Minister of Defense played his first 8 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, and in that period, the Hall of Fame defensive end had 124 sacks, 18 forced fumbles, and 11 fumble recoveries. Aside from his 1985 rookie year, White made the Pro Bowl every single season as an Eagle. He was a 6-time first-team All-Pro, 1980s All-Decade team member, and 2-time sacks leader, leading the league there in the 1987 and 88 seasons. Oh, and he won Defensive Player of the Year honors in 1987. The future Canton member signed with the Green Bay Packers in 1993, marking the start of Hall of Fame career number 2. White proved to be the final piece needed in helping Brett Favre's Packers get over the hump once and for all. He helped the team to a Super Bowl 31 championship in the 1996 season and to another big game appearance in the following year where they fell to John Elway's Broncos. In 6 years as a Packer, White had 68.5 sacks, 14 forced fumbles, and 8 fumble recoveries. He won his second Defensive Player of the Year award in 1998 after tallying 16 sacks. White was named to the 1990s All-Decade Team, as well as the NFL's 75th anniversary and 100th anniversary all-time teams. Also, by the way, both the Eagles and Packers retired his iconic number 92, putting stamps on the man who crafted 2 Canton careers in 14 seasons. Larry Fitzgerald. The Arizona Cardinals legend spent his entire 17-year career in the desert, which spanned from 2004 to 2020. He never quite hit Jerry Rice's level of greatness, but Fitzgerald displayed incredible longevity that we might never see again at the wide receiver position. For convenience's sake, we'll exclude Fitzgerald's final NFL season in 2020, which was by far the worst year of his career. So, focusing on the first half of his career from 2004 to 2011, and yeah, you got a lock for Canton. In that period, he had 6 seasons of 80-plus catches and over 1,000 yards receiving. Not to mention that Fitzgerald put up an all-time performance in Arizona's gut-wrenching loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 43. If Arizona had won that game, I'm pretty sure Fitz would have been your Super Bowl MVP. Fitzgerald also led the league in receiving TDs in back-to-back years in 2008 and 2009. From 2003 to 2011, well, he was a 6-time Pro Bowler. So with that out of the way, let's now focus on Fitzgerald's stats from 2012 to 2019. 685 receptions, third most in that span, for 7,468 receiving yards and 47 touchdowns. Throw in 5 Pro Bowl nods and a spot on the 2010s All-Decade Team, and yeah, we'd call that a second Hall of Fame career for Fitz. Also, just consider that Kurt Warner was the one elite QB that Fitzgerald ever had worked with. This guy put up eye-popping stats with Kevin Cobb, Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton, and Matt Leinart for crying out loud. Oh, and by the way, only Jerry Rice has more career receiving yards and receptions than Fitz. Ray Lewis. I mean, what more can really be said about the Baltimore Ravens legend that hasn't already been said? Lewis was drafted 26th overall by the Ravens in 1996 following their relocation from Cleveland. And just like that, the history of football in Baltimore had changed forever. The workhorse linebacker emerged as the face of the Ravens franchise during their rapid rise to prominence. In just their 5th season of existence, the Ravens rode their suffocating defense to a Super Bowl 35 championship. By the conclusion of his 8th NFL season in 2003, Lewis was a Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl 35 MVP, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time First-Team All-Pro, and a 3-time NFL tackles leader. From 2004 to 2012? Oh, you know, just your casual 7-time Pro Bowl linebacker, 4-time First-Team All-Pro, 2000s All-Decade Team selection, and 1 more Super Bowl championship in the 2012 season to close out your career. Lewis was a game-wrecking superstar from day 1 up until his final NFL game. How fitting that he won 2 Super Bowl rings, 1 for each half of his Hall of Fame career. Well, I suppose make that 2 Hall of Fame careers. Terrell Owens. You kids who didn't grow up with T.O. probably know him as the guy with all the epic TD celebrations that would not fly today, as well as the many epic soundbites. But the Hall of Fame wideout was arguably a top 3 all-time wide receiver who played 15 NFL seasons from 1996 to 2010. And like Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald, Owens was an incredible model of consistency from start to finish. Owens spent his first 8 seasons with the 49ers before departing in 2004. By that point, he had 560 catch and 1,000-yard seasons. Not too bad considering that he spent several of his prime years playing second fiddle to Jerry Rice. Owens was a 4-time Pro Bowler in San Fran, having led the league in receiving TDs during the 2001 and 2002 seasons, and he was a 3-time First-Team All-Pro 3 years in a row from 2000 to 02. Yeah, T.O. would have been a Hall of Famer if he had retired after 8 years with the 49ers, but he just continued his greatness with the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys, leading Philly to his Super Bowl 39 appearance in the 2004 season. Over his final 7 seasons, Owens compiled 7,362 receiving yards and 72 touchdowns. Only Randy Moss had more in that span. San Fran, Philly, Dallas, Buffalo, and from Cincinnati. Owens produced wherever he went, even though Steve Young was the only Hall of Fame quarterback T.O. ever got to play meaningful time with. Bruce Smith. You better have had 2 Hall of Fame careers in one if you're the NFL's all-time sacks leader with a ridiculous quantity of 200 and 279 NFL games. Such is the case for Buffalo Bills legend Bruce Smith, who also played 4 seasons in Washington. He hit double-digit sacks in 13 of his 19 seasons, earned 11 Pro Bowl nods, and 9 first-team All-Pro selections. The 2-time Defensive Player of the Year was vital in the Bills' rise to prominence, leading them to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances from 1990 to 1993. Over his final 10 seasons from 1994 to 2003, Smith twice led the league in forced fumbles, won 96 Defensive Player of the Year honors, and racked up 94 sacks. Also, I think you gotta have 2 Hall of Fame careers if you're gonna earn all-decade team selections in both the 80s and 90s. Dan Marino. It is so unfortunate that Marino's legacy is that of the greatest quarterback who never won a Super Bowl, because in terms of individual talent, there are few that are as decorated as Marino, who understandably believes that he could throw for 6,000 yards in today's league. Marino led Miami to the postseason in 10 of his 17 NFL seasons. Yet the Dolphins only made 1 Super Bowl during his legendary career, that being the 1984 season when he became the first QB to throw for 5,000 yards. In the first 8 years of his career, Marino was a 1-time MVP, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, and 4-time passing yards leader. From 1991 to 1999, well, 4 more Pro Bowls, 1 passing yards crown, 2 second-team All-Pro selections, and 6 playoff appearances. Marino would go on to retire after the 1999 season as the all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Emmit Smith. Trust us, you don't retire as the NFL's all-time leader in rushing yards and rushing scores without playing like a Hall of Famer for a decade and a half. Most of Smith's career highlights came inside his first 7 seasons from 1990 to 1996. He was the backbone of the 90s Cowboys dynasty that won 3 Super Bowls over a 4-year span in 92, 93, and 95. His 4 first-team All-Pro nods, 1993 NFL MVP award, and 4 rushing titles all came within that first 7-year span too. A first-ballot Hall of Famer if he called it quits after 1996, yes. But 1997 to 2004, Emmit Smith was also a Hall of Famer, folks. Smith hit 1K rushing every year from 1997 to 2001 and crossed 900 yards in 2002 and 2004 at the end of his career. If Terrell Davis can get into Canton with only 4 healthy seasons under his belt, then the 1997 to 04 version of Smith with 8,195 rushing yards is a surefire Hall of Famer. But which other NFL legends had 2 Hall of Fame careers? Is there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. But hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.